we got a nice little exclusive behind the scenes look at my man Boogie Knight. He is a part of the management team for Shedeur Sanders. He's been with him for such a long time, since he was younger. He stopped into the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show to talk about Shedeur Sanders, his rise, his fall. We got some really good information from him, and we got to see a look and peek behind the curtain, so to speak, to see who is the real Shedeur Sanders. We'll highlight that. We'll talk about that. How they gonna split these reps up? How they gonna split the reps up? We'll get to that as well. We got a nice show for you, planned for you today, right here on the Ultimate Browns. Welcome on into the Ultimate Browns. I'm your host, G. Bush, rocking and rolling with you guys. Want to appreciate you guys for pulling up on me. As always, we didn't have we didn't have the barbershop this weekend. I was having some throat issues, and I was off the other day on Monday as well. So I'm glad to be back with you guys, talking to little Cleveland Browns and getting back into the swing of things. We have a big show planned for you today. Interview that I'm really excited to talk about. We got to interview Boogie Knight, who is part of Shedeur Sanders' management team. He works for apparently he's the director of operations for Young Money. And that is Young Money on the side of, Lil Wayne has a firm in which he represents athletes. So he is the operations management over there on Young Money Sports. So he dropped by. His name was in the news, so to speak, because he got into a little tiff with one Aaron Goldhammer and Tony Rizzo on ESPN Cleveland. We'll talk about that a little bit. So he's been doing the radio circuit, trying to give his side and the side of Shedeur Sanders, giving some of the background of their journey that they went through with the slide. Of course, he pulled up on me, Tyvis and Bull, and he talked a lot about his thoughts with Shedeur Sanders going back to when he was a child. Talked about his journey, being on TV a lot, and he dropped some real nuggets in terms of what it was like. He was there when the prank happened. He was there during the draft party when Shedeur slid. He's been in concert with him. He's been up here in Cleveland working out with him and as part of his team. So he came in and gave us an exclusive, and you'll get to see a little bit of the behind the scenes look at somebody very close to Shedeur Sanders, somebody that's privy to the financials, privy to what it is that Shedeur is looking forward to doing. He was also part of one of the people who set up the meeting to go to the school that he was, came into town and talked about. So he gave us a lot. If you have not seen that episode, make sure you check it out on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. It's up right now. But without further ado, I'm going to get into the first topic. Boogie Knight speaks about Shedeur Sanders, and I asked him a question in terms of, hey, what are some things that you wanted to know about Shedeur, and what's some of the misconceptions that people are giving out there? And he had a lot to say in terms of what it was like when he was sliding and different things behind the scenes. Let's go to that right now. 8-9 times.
Right.
Like, how was he in that moment? Was it something where you like, yeah, I know you kind of salty about it, or do you ever show that?
Never wavered. We was at his house, for 3 days. After I left Green Bay with Trav the first night, I flew immediately back to Jacksonville the next morning with Trav, and I left as soon as he did his press conference straight to Dallas. And then I was there for day 2, and then as I was watching it unfold, and it was you could see the energy and like people getting worried, everybody around worried, and him, he's smiling.
They was worried?
Oh, people around, like everybody was like, what's going on? Like you could hear the chatter. And not once did he flinch. It was always, man, DJ, play the music. What you doing? Hey, cameraman, what you doing, man? Go capture this. You don't know the call might come in a minute. Put this out. He's orchestrating everything and keeping himself going. Same quarterback poise he's always had since he was young. So I'm watching, like I said, I'm just trying to size him up just to see. I want to see if he gonna fold, if he gonna give it. Like day 2 go by, nothing. Everybody just sitting there like, what the? And he just, what y'all tripping on? We got tomorrow. We got tomorrow. And then we're like, well, tomorrow, I'm not feeling good about tomorrow right now.
Hey, I like the fact that he kept it really like tomorrow. Like we don't know much know about tomorrow. What we doing here? Man, that gives an insight, and it's good to hear from somebody that's inside the building, that's inside the, those rooms that Shedeur Sanders is in, just to give us the thought process. Because so often throughout this process, we've been hearing from one way. We've had that Coach Prime overplayed his hand. We've heard that Shedeur was he was sitting there thinking and being humbled at the time, and this is why he slid and so much. We had all of these insiders that wasn't even inside, and my thought process during the whole thing was, when you have your 5 minutes of fame, and when you're looking around, man, it's very easy from the outside looking in to just say, oh, listen, he probably regrets all the stuff that he was doing. He's sliding. I bet you he's over there nervous now. And it's cool to hear somebody that actually was with him, somebody that is actually inside of his camp, actually has a stake in what's going on, to sit here and see that, look, hey, man, I was sitting there and a lot of people was nervous. I thought that was a very honest question. A lot of people were sitting there nervous, like, dang, bro, we didn't slid to day 3. You know what I mean? But Shedeur is still upbeat. Shedeur's up. He's moving people around. He's a guy who is an orchestrator. He's a guy who tries to calm everybody down. And those are the things I'm looking for out of the quarterback. I'm looking for those type of things where he says, listen, hey, look, it could be worse. We might be down at halftime. We might be down in the third quarter. But I want my quarterback to be on the bench, rallying guys around, not looking like the game is down. And I think that's the type of attitude that we've seen on camera. That's the type of attitude that you saw in the game against Baylor when they opened a Big 12 play. And he throws a Hail Mary, and they were playing poorly that whole game. They were able to come back. He threw that ball in the rain on the last second. They got a touchdown. They could take it to overtime, eventually won that game. So I thought it was very telling that he's a guy that's his personality. That's what he wants to do. That's something that he really hangs his hat on, and to see and to hear that he's a person that's doing that was excellent. One of the things that we also talked about in this case was this, and I took an offense to this a little bit too, because I got a problem during the time period where you looked at what was happening with Shedeur Sanders, and you talked about him coming here the first day or so, being here the first week, the week before training camp gets started for rookies. He comes in and comes down, goes to John Marshall, right? And, he's going to back to go talk to kids and go back and talk to some individuals. And one of the things that I got out of this interview was, I asked him, I said, listen, people trying to make that be a publicity stunt. Like that was just something for PR to get his name back up. And I said, if you've done your homework on Shedeur Sanders and you've been around, and I've followed him a long time, we talked about his lineage. We talked about him being on Coach Prime's reality show way back on OWN. And that was way back. I want to say, this has to be 10 years now, but Coach Prime was on one of those shows, and all his family, and they showed him as a 6th grader. And he talked about his even keel and different things with that. But one of the things that you would notice that, Shedeur is always going back to talk to the children. He's done that in Texas, where he was in high school. He's done that in Colorado. He's done that in other different visits that he's gone to in the NFL, where they, if he's there for a couple of days, he's going to talk to kids. He's going to sign autographs and stuff like that. I didn't like the fact that people try to make that be a PR stunt. Like, I got a problem with people that ain't never done nothing in their life. Like, I got a problem with people that won't give back to their own family, people that don't even want to take their kids nowhere. And we got a bunch of people on Twitter acting like, oh, that was just a PR stunt. I'm like, bro, well, what PR stunt have you done? I feel like, I'm passionate about it because I do take my time out when I do have time and try to sacrifice and go talk to kids or go to the prisons and go to jail. Me and Earl have done different things like that in outreach. And a lot of people, they don't need to know about it because we just go and do it. So a lot of the times people are sitting there talking about, oh, it's just a PR stunt. Don't act like he was just doing that. He's just trying to get his PR back up. And I'm like, bro, well, listen, it's a lot of people out here that don't do nothing. Like, there's a lot of people sitting at the crib hating. And if he becomes a great ball player, I would love it if he become one of a great ball player or a franchise quarterback for the Browns. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of other things more important than that as well. if he's going to continue to go be a a good person and go to these schools and give back to the inner city and give back to his community, I believe in that. Because there's a lot of people that's in those schools that don't get nobody that show up. There's nobody showing up for them at home. There's nobody showing up for them when they get in trouble. And there's definitely nobody showing up for them going to schools enough. So my thing is, like, listen, some things you can leave on the football field and some things you just tip your hat to him. Just because he's going to these schools and he's doing something for the community, you could tip your hat to the young man without saying, oh, well, you know, I think it was other things that go. Bro, listen. It's other things like you sitting at home doing nothing. You don't do nothing. It's a lot of people that be talking such a great game, and it be internet thumb thuggers. Y'all be on the internet so tough. Oh, you're a clown. You're a clown. I'm like, bro, come on, bro. Y'all cats don't know nothing about that. And if you see people in person, it's all loves and hugs, bro. But at the end of the day, I care more about the community and care more about what you're doing for these people than anything else. So for me, if you want to say you don't know if he's going to be a good quarterback, cool. But at the end of the day, you can't downplay community service. I respect anybody that's going out there doing stuff, whether that's, you know, going to donating to places, spending your time talking to kids, whatever the case may be. But just salute that and leave the football stuff on the football field, right? Because that's what I think we can all agree. Community service is a good thing. And I think that we all enjoy the fact that, hey, he could have been at home chilling, but he came and did something. That don't mean he's going to throw a bunch of touchdowns. That don't mean he's going to be the greatest player in the Browns history. That just means that he kind of gets it a little bit. And that's the point of these episodes is let's stop acting like he don't understand and let's look at another perspective and give another perspective on what people is talking about. When we get back, we will continue in the conversation. Boogie talks about some of the things that Shedeur is trying to do. Bull asked him a great question in terms of, you know, would he do anything differently? And he had a very interesting answer that coming up. Stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss it. You're listening to the Ultimate Browns right here on the UCSS Network. Today's episode of the Ultimate Browns is brought to you by Epicor. Every team knows the value of hard work, of taking pride in what you build, and practicing every day's details to get the best results. But no one player, no matter how amazing, can do it all alone. Working together makes getting the win easier. At Epicor, all our all-stars are the hardworking manufacturers and distributors who create and deliver the things we all need, from aerospace to electrical to medical devices. Epicor ERP solutions are created by industry experts to help make every day easier. Seeing the whole supply chain is easier. Managing the logistics is easier. Responding to practices and prices changes is easier. For the small businesses with big dreams to the growing enterprises with global vision, we'll equip you with the right tools to move forward, think ahead, and lead the way. Because of the clock, and when the clock ticks down, you need to make the most of every hardworking minute. Easier doesn't cut corners, easier finds the lane. Discover your success at www.easierwithepicor.com. That's www.easierwithepicor.com. We back at it. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in all the sports. It's your boy G Bush right here on the Ultimate Browns. Don't forget, coming up next week, we got a special right here on UCSS. We will be doing a Browns schedule game. They will be releasing the schedule. Me, Earl the Pearl will be on it, and Mikey McNuggets. We might have one more guest on there, so pull up on us. We'll have a special coming up this Wednesday. Make sure it's this Wednesday coming up. We will be doing a schedule release show right here on UCSS. Boogie Knight is he's a representative that he's director of operations over there over at Young Money, and he's been in Shedeur Sanders camp for, I guess, almost 20 years. Came up with Coach Prime, a member of the team. He is now in the city working with Shedeur, specifically getting him ready for training camp coming up here, rookie mini camp coming up here. He was in the building talking about what some of the things that Shedeur Sanders is about. I think we got a lot of one-sided information, whether that was the NFL, whether that was people opining on it, whether that was Chris Carter's or Bomani Jones or all around. Stephen A. Smith. Everybody had something to say about the Shedeur Sanders thing, but we never got to hear from Shedeur, which is, hey, look, we heard from him 2 or 3 times. One of them, he went to local high school in the Cleveland area to talk to the kids. We appreciate that. He also has some stuff up on the internet about him working out, throwing the ball in the indoor facility, doing some drills, running a little bit, conditioning. And, Aaron Goldhammer and a couple of people at ESPN Cleveland said they was tired of seeing Shedeur Sanders already in his film. He should just go out and do it. Now, here's my thing about this situation, and I'm going to speak on it really quickly. At the end of the day, y'all better get used to it. This is how it all starts. Get used to it, bro. That's crazy. Like, we cover sports, right? We cover sports. You're going to have to see Shedeur Sanders throw the football. That's what it's going to be. And you should be watching Shedeur Sanders throw the football. That's what this game is about, right? We talking about working out. We talk about putting the work in. We talking about doing it. The thing about Shedeur Sanders, and I asked Boogie as well, he's been around him and his family for 20 years inside of his camp. Shedeur Sanders has been on camera for years. Shedeur Sanders has been on ever since he's been since 6th grade, has been on TV, whether it was at Coach Prime's, his reality show, whether it was him playing high school football in Texas, whether it was him at Jackson State. There are people who follow Shedeur Sanders because he's been on TV a lot, and that's what it is. At the end of the day, the Cleveland Browns are looking for a quarterback. They drafted 2 quarterbacks in the one in the third round, Dylan Gabriel, and they drafted Shedeur Sanders. I don't understand why you wouldn't think that they would be throwing. People want to see what Shedeur Sanders is doing. You should too. Everybody should. That's not an issue. For those individuals that are looking for a reason to say, well, I'm tired of seeing this and I'm tired of seeing that, well, close your damn eyes. See, listen, I keep trying to tell y'all people, this ain't Deshaun Watson. Listen, you can't just remember how y'all was going crazy when Deshaun Watson was eating dinner with his wife? Y'all was losing it. I don't want to see him. Why is he not on the field? You can't get this off this time, bro. That's just not, listen, what we need to see is we want to see 4 quarterbacks go out there and fight it out. Coming up in the next segment, I will let you know what I think is going to happen with those reps. But in terms of people that's trying to say, I'm tired of seeing this, well, listen, bro, you're in the wrong sport then. It's not about you. It ain't about me. It's about what's going on the field. And it seems kind of funny that when you are terrible for 30 years and you're garbage, you know who turned out to be the celebrities? The guys that are on the microphone. You know who turned out to be the guys that people are interested in? It becomes an argument to see who can say the Browns are the terriblest and worst the most. Those are the guys that get the acknowledgement. Those are the guys that are going to get the clicks. Right now, we got a quarterback competition. Lock in. When they drafted Shedeur Sanders, you knew what it was going to be. Why are you confused? Why are you confused by that? Shedeur Sanders has been rumored to go to the Browns, even at number 2. Were you not getting ready for it? Did you not think that they were going to show him every day? That's why it just be cap. You're not tired of seeing it. You just saying that so they could be like, what y'all doing? Y'all beefing already? Shedeur Sanders camp is already beefing. I seen that. I seen all that. Stop playing. I already know what y'all doing. Y'all not serious, man. Come on, man. But I will tell you this. We asked a little bit. We talked about Shedeur, and Boogie had a lot more to say in terms of what was his mindset, and what do you think is going to be going forward?
For those who say that he has to be humbled in order for him to play at his best, right? Mm-hmm. They say it's a great position because he got drafted in the 5th round. It humbled him, showed him that like he's not in charge of everything. Mm-hmm. Like, is that something that has ever been that has been crossed, or you guys ever conversated on about the fact that people think that he needed to be knocked down a little bit in order to get the best out of Shedeur?
Yeah, we've had them conversations, and he just always say, man, people are entitled to their own opinion. That's his thing. People are entitled to feel how they feel. But for me, speaking for him, he say, but for me, I don't need that to go out and do what I know I'm born to do. Because for him, and I always tell people this also, be careful what you ask for when you're dealing with a guy like that. Because when you got certain guys that operate a certain way, you don't want to take certain things from them that makes them special. And for him, it's a certain level. It's like, don't take a Bugatti and turn it into a Honda. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to drive the same.
I like that. Let me get you. Let me see. I like that. You know what I like most about that is, and I keep trying to tell people, be who you are. Don't let nobody see. The one thing I'm unapologetic about is this, and I tell you this all the time: what God got for you, can't nobody take it away. I don't care who you is. What He got for you, you can't take that. And the one thing that you always be clear about is be you. Be unapologetically you, right? And that's why it's a really good thing to understand who you are as a person. Because when you get out here in the public eye, people gonna take shots at you. People gonna tear you down. People gonna say you this, you ain't that, you ain't this, you ain't that. Listen, you know, it's gonna be a lot of people that ain't gonna want to see that. But the one thing that I'm big on is understanding as a man and as a person what your morals and standards are and who you truly are, and stand on that. I think in this conversation, right? And I think one of the things that we did at the end of the conversation, we talked about it a bit. We said, hey, me and Tyvus was laughing and joking. I said, hey, listen, under no circumstances do you get rid of the rollie. He said, what you mean? I said, hey, we want to see the celebration. That's part of it. That's part of it. Like to a certain extent, you know, at the end of all of the people that we talked about, at the end, when we saw guys on the field, that people that we expected things from, like Baker Mayfield, he was a shell of who he was in terms of before when he got here. That he had been beat up by the media so much, beat up, stripped down so much that he was a different person. Odell Beckham Jr. left on, you know, he was to a position you couldn't even, you didn't even recognize him, right? It was just story after story after story. The Deshaun Watson thing was crazy. He left on the cart crying because he got booed in his own stadium. Tim Couch left here battered and bruised. Like Charlie Fry got cut after 3 games. We got a way in this city of really, like Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb left out of here not on the up and up. You know what I'm saying? Like people still want Nick Chubb to come back, right? My thing is this. Do your thing. Live how you live. And be you unapologetically. And if you gonna be you who you are unapologetically, there's a lot of people that's gonna rock with you. You know why? Because we can respect authenticity. We can respect that you authentic and you standing on what you stand on. Don't let them strip your joy. If you want to go out there and you play well because you can celebrate and do that all day and twice on Sunday to the bank. You know what he said? You know, Boogie said, hey, you know, he actually did ask me. He's like, what do you think? Should we do the celebration anymore? And I said, don't you tell him. You go back and tell him, no, we ain't accepting nothing else but the celebration, because that's who you are. That's what got you here. That's what got you here. There's a lot of people out here that change up the way they want to change up. Have you ever seen a person that's different every time you see them? Every time you see them, they're a different person. They get around another group of people, they're a different person. Listen, man, you don't have to conform to be special. Be special, and he said it right. Whatever makes you get to this point and made you tick that way, keep doing it, because you got here doing that. Don't let nobody change you up and then be like, oh, well, what happened to that swagger? What happened to that it factor? What happened to the specialness? They ain't gonna like you anyway. Listen, if somebody don't really want to rock with you, they're not gonna rock with you. Don't even try it. Play to your base. Hey, they're not rocking with you anyway. You think they're gonna like you overnight? No, they're gonna always have something to say if they don't really know. I thought he did this, and I thought you ain't even got to do nothing crazy. It just be like, I just don't like your attitude. Okay, well, don't like it. Rolly time. Adam the Bull had a question. I thought this was we didn't give him no softballs. Let's see what Admiral Bull had to ask.
It was the biggest story. The draft got talked about more than anything else. And of course, you've heard all the reports and what people have said, and maybe some of the interviews didn't go well. We all make mistakes along the way. I don't know if he made any mistakes. I don't know if anybody in his camp made any mistakes. Do you feel like, even without getting into specifics, do you think there were things along the way that you're like, well, maybe if we had done this differently, or it is what it is, it was going to happen this way anyway?
At dinner 2 nights ago, he sat at the table, and he said, man, if I could go back and do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing. And he said, because the reason being, because I feel like I am where I know I should have been in the beginning. Maybe I didn't get here how I thought I would get here, but I'm where I belong. And he said, so I still got here. And at the end of the day, I'm not tripping on no money. He's like, man, I'd have made north of $24 million since January, before the draft.
Yeah.
He like, so money wasn't an issue.
Right.
I just need the opportunity to be able to go compete. So for him, it was more so understanding that side of it, and he just never, he never wavered about none of that, man, and how he got here, or he never questioned it, never pointed the finger at anyone. It just who he is.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why you need perspective. That's why you need another person to come up. Sometimes you need to have some a different perspective on certain things, bro. First thing that hit me was he said, bro, I already got bread. I keep trying to tell these folks. Y'all keep cracking me up. I seen Chris Carter talk about he lost $40 to $50 million. Man, the dude already got bread, bro. Like money ain't the root. Like the dude he was one of the first NIL kids. He was the NIL baby. He been had money. You didn't see his Gatorade commercials? I mean, he already had the bread. I love what he said about it. It ain't about no money. It's about the opportunity. And now you got an opportunity to go out and cook. You got an opportunity where, guess what? He going to have every opportunity to go out there and throw this football and be in the same mix as the rest of the quarterbacks. And that's as a competitor, you don't want nothing else more than that. What are you talking about? Like, man, what I'm tripping for? I told you, wherever you going to be at, wherever you find yourself, bloom. Wherever you find yourself in a place, go ahead and show out. That's the great thing about competition, and I love this this ain't corporate America. You don't just get this because your cousin was doing something. Corporate America, hey, you don't just get it. I don't care what people y'all think. What Joe Thomas talked about it the best. Coach Prime ain't out here. Coach Prime ain't out here, can't play for him. Shiloh can't play for Shedeur. This is sports, bro. You earn your keep. It don't matter how much bread you got or where you was drafted. Guess what? You got an opportunity to compete. And that's the main thing. He got drafted. He in the place he's supposed to be. In his mind, he like, listen, let's go to work. And so, to me, I think a lot of the outside narrative and noise is around it. And I want to just say this too. When can we move on? Can we move on? I really don't necessarily want to do 85 videos about Shedeur Sanders. I want to move on and get to the football and to get to the competition and get to who gonna win. If we can talk about that in the context of what Shedeur Sanders is, that would be great. But please don't make me come on here and keep doing this stuff about I don't want to see it. Stop it. I think we got a nice perspective from what's going on. I appreciate Boogie from coming through. We want to see the Rolly conversation. I want to see you score that a lot of touchdowns, and I need to see it a lot of times. You know me, I like to have celebration. I'm Mr. Fun League. I need all the celebrations, man. So we appreciate Boogie from coming through. Shedeur, come on, post up. You always got a place right over here on the UCSS set. So let's go ahead and make that happen. By the way, let's get to this. We got one more segment to go. We ain't done. One more segment to go. How I see these reps being split up. And I'm going to tell you what, y'all might not like it, but I see this as a young versus old conversation. We'll explain that getting back. We got right here. It's G. Bush right here on the Ultimate Browns. Say goodbye to sticky notes, scribbled plans on the fridge, and overlapping calendar invites. The Skylight Calendar is here to bring you clarity to the chaos and help families stay organized without the stress. This sleek digital display syncs with your existing calendars and includes Google, Apple, Outlook, and more, making it simple to track appointments, practices, dinners, and reminders all in one easy-to-see place. What would it mean to eliminate the "I didn't know" excuse from your family's routine? Could assigning everyone their own color finally solve who does what confusion in the house? How often do plans get missed because they're buried in a digital calendar or not written down at all? This can all be taken care of by Skylight Calendar. Right now, Skylight is offering our listeners $30 off a 15-inch calendar by going to skylight.com/NFL. Go to skylight.com/NFL for $30 off your 15-inch calendar. That's SKYLIGHTCAL.com/NFL. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Which players are showing up in the biggest moments, and how could tracking their trends help you build your next big bet? What would it look like to combine live prop bets mid-game based on how action unfolds? How could a $200 bonus in bonus bets add to the excitement if your first $5 bet hits? New to FanDuel? It's a perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com/UCSS and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. We back at it right here on the Ultimate Browns. G. Bush, we talked about a little bit earlier. Boogie Knight stopped by, talked about Shedeur Sanders, and one of the things that we look at with Shedeur Sanders is how is he going to get reps? And I look at this whole quarterback race as in a way the old versus the young. I think this will come down to whoever wins the race between the old guys, and that's Flacco and Kenny Pickett. Now Kenny Pickett's not that old. But whoever wins that race is going to be on the roster. Whoever loses that race, I think, is going to be jettisoned and moved out. We talk about what's going on with, Dylan Gabriel as well as Shedeur Sanders. I think, a lot of what's going to happen, and people don't get this twisted. Rookie minicamp means something. Shedeur Sanders, in order to be in this race, is going to have to outperform Dylan Gabriel in the rookie minicamps. I think they're going to take a lot to look at that. I think they're going to look at specifically who's commanding the huddle, who's between two guys that are very accurate, who is the most accurate in their deep passing, who makes the least amount of mistakes. I think Kevin Stefanski is going to look at the guy who has the least amount of turnovers, the least amount of mistakes, who can grasp the playbook the best, and who has the command of the huddle in terms of what they're going to look at in the pecking order. For Shedeur, he's going to have to outplay Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel, look at the evaluations. A lot of people are saying, look, I look at him as a slightly less version of Tua. Left-handed. He's a better athlete than people give him credit for. I went back and watched him against Ohio State the first game and the second game, looked at a lot of his tape going back to Oklahoma. He's a very accurate passer. We're going to see very early, though, is he going to be a professional guy? Is he going to be a guy that can make the professional throws to squeeze the ball into tight windows, that have enough zip on the ball? Can he see? Is he going to be able to find passing lanes and throw the ball? All those things are going to be very prevalent when you're talking about who's going to get that position. Now, look, Shedeur's going to get an opportunity, and he's going to get all of the attention. They're going to look and see, all right, Shedeur, is you balling out? Is you hitting your gimmies? Are you taking sacks? Are you getting the ball out on time? These are all things that they're going to be watching. Shedeur can't afford to be taking sacks. Dylan Gabriel can't be having balls batted down into the line of scrimmage. They're going to be looking for all of this. Interceptions. Yes, you want to make throws, but they're going to be counting those picks. Negative turnovers, guys understanding the playbook, getting them in the right audible, and having the pace when you're doing the rookie camp is going to be very important for that race moving forward. Because that guy who I think comes out of camp, who's winning that, is going to get the first crack at the reps. When you look at the older guys, I look at it like this. Joe Flacco doesn't need reps. They know what Joe's is. They know what Joe is able to do. Joe has the advantage on all of them because he looks at it, and you look at it and you say, well, Joe already has been in this offense before, a couple of years ago. Joe has name brand recognition. It's just as popular as you have Shedeur Sanders. Joe Flacco is just as popular. You go in the street and ask who should start week 1, everybody's saying it's Flaccavelli. I don't know where this Kenny Pickett stuff. Kenny Pickett is behind the 8 ball as well. I know they gave up some stuff for Pickett, fifth round pick. He's going to have to come out and he's going to have to overbeat Joe Flacco. Let me explain. Joe Flacco is already the best at the play action. He's already the best at the play action. He has the name brand recognition. He also is in Stefanski's playbook. He already knows a lot of the concepts that they're running. He's been around for years and years and years. So he's accumulated a lot of the knowledge around the league that he can, just assimilate and just really be a guy that does not need the level of reps to be a competent person. When he gets in the huddle, Joe Flacco's commanding the huddle. He has the respect of Batonio, Teller, all those guys. He's already been there. They had already won games late, and they was in the playoffs. So to me, it's a no-brainer that Joe Flacco was already in the league. Now, Kenny Pickett, I'm going to tell you what. He has the most to gain and the most to lose. If he loses this battle, I believe Kenny Pickett will get traded. And the reason I think Pickett gets traded is because, look, there is no upside in keeping Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco in this roster. There's none. Because you really, what you want to see, frankly, is you want a guy that's going to play 6 or 7 games. And if you're losing those 6 or 7 games, then you see what the kids can do, right? Browns don't look to make the playoffs this year. And the Browns already have 2 first-round draft picks signaling that they could go for a quarterback in next year's draft. They're not looking at anything crazy. So what you want to do is you want to see what these kids are. You want to see what Dylan Gabriel is. Is he good? Hey, give him an opportunity to see if you got lightning in the bottle. I know he's a little undersized. Is Shedeur Sanders a guy? You had a higher grade on him than that. Let's see if we can do. Is he going to be able to assimilate to what you want to do in the pocket? Is he going to be able to handle the pressure? What is he going to do? And Kenny Pickett, what are you, he's trying to get his career back. He's a former first-round pick. He's already on this will be his 3rd team. So what you want to do is you really want to look. I wouldn't be surprised if they give Kenny Pickett the first look, and if Kenny Pickett looked pretty good, I don't even think Flacco need reps like that. If Kenny Pickett looks pretty good, you could trade Kenny Pickett and get some of that draft capital back. Maybe you get a 4th round pick. Maybe you just get a 5th, right? They kind of did the same thing before with Dobbs and DTR, and then you duke it out with the young guys. Which one of the young guys is going to take the mantle? It's only 3 preseason games. I don't think Flacco takes that many snaps. I think this is very important. To see what's going to happen. And I think the Browns are going to get a pretty good understanding of what's going on and who they got and whether or not they think they got something in these rookie mini camps. I'm going to tell you that right now. A lot of people is going to try to, poo-poo it and not. No, that is a direct battle. That is a direct battle to see how far along the kids are. And please believe me, they are talking behind the scenes saying, look, we need to figure out what we got. Do we got something or not? If they feel like they got something, listen, you're going to see a lot more reps from the young guys as well as should be. Because next year, you need to figure out if you need a quarterback or not. And I need to at least get Dylan Gabriel maybe 3 starts, 3-4 starts. I like to get Shedeur Sanders 3-4 starts. We need to figure it out. And there's no use playing Kenny Pickett and by the way, if you play to me, let me just say this. If you play all the young guys and you get a high pick, I mean, Put Flacco behind him, and let the two dudes play, get them out there. Because if they trash, you can always go to the second young guy and figure it out. And if he's trash, go back to the other. Look, this year is about figuring out if you got a quarterback and having some fun football. You got 2 running backs. Let's figure out what them backs is. You got another young tight end. Let's see what they talking about. But only 3 gonna make it. I think it's gonna be old versus old, young versus young. And then if everything is being equal, start running them young dudes. I don't have no problem starting them because you want a bad picking. Y'all want to tank anyway, don't y'all? Y'all want to take L's anyway. But I do think Flacco's. I would start him out. I think Pickett, if he looks good enough, I think you can move him out for a pick. And then after that, Flacco, if he gets hurt. Now, if Flacco goes off on a heater and you guys are in the playoff race, but by all means, keep him in there. But I doubt that at 40 years old. Something will happen before then. So with that being said, you never know where G. Bush is going to show up, man. Make sure you check us out. The draft show next week won't be the Ultimate Browns will be moved to Wednesday. Make sure you check it out. We will be doing a schedule Ultimate Browns, me, McNuggets, and Earl the Pearl. Check that out on Wednesday. With that being said, you never know where G. Bush might show up. Rain, sleet, snow. I don't know where I'll be at. Radio, television, internet. But if you want the fresh cut on sports, you always know I got the barbershop and the Clippers open. Have a great rest of your evening. And as always, go Browns.